I'm sitting here feeling like I got my ass kicked by the universe. I have this sciatica pain down the backs of my legs, and it's hard to get comfortable. Today sitting is kind of okay. Yesterday I couldn't even sit. I spent the whole day in motion, walking, and now I kind of have cramps in my calves. So I'm hoping this strange pain will be gone soon. I made a video this morning and I really can't even remember if I talked about it. My memory sucks and my motivation isn't good, partly because I'm in such pain. And I have bug bites on my ankles, and so they're swollen and itchy all over. So this is kind of a lesson in when you picture this beautiful scenario that you're going to, there's always something, and not saying it's regrettable or anything, but it's just still, it has its own challenges. And I just want to lay down and rest, but I can't. I don't know if it's because I rested too long and now I have this pain when I lay down. It intensifies. And I'm definitely feeling less happy and less social. And last week I actually had a surge of feeling happiness and socialness. And I don't know if it's because I'm again in that over-medicated spot, but I did do a 75 milligram reduction of lithium and an 1/8 reduction of trazodone on Saturday. So that would be Saturday night, Sunday night. So only 2 nights ago. So I don't think really now is the time to do another one. But hopefully I will speak to them on Thursday and find out if this leg pain thing is anything they've heard about. I almost feel like the drugs are leaving my nerves, and I think I said that already, but I don't even remember. So I'm wondering if doing a little bit more self-dialogue is something to at least keep my brain engaged. I wrote down, how does one stay elevated? And to use the word elevated and levitated instead of leap. Leaping is not a good word to use in the whole so-called mania and psychosis context. And I was wondering if a device could be created to mitigate people's voices. There's something called holophonic sound, and it's really interesting if you look it up and find sound clips and listen with stereo headphones. It actually sounds like a person is behind you in a certain place along your head. So it's not just stereo, it's actually holophonic. And it uses how the brain works to process sound. So in that way, one could almost use that to create positive voices or almost neutralize the voice that one has. If somebody's like, I hear a voice coming from here and it says this, maybe there could be something created where one has something that sort of neutralizes that or mitigates it or has some kind of balancing effect. I don't know if it's possible, but I just thought it was interesting. Because I saw this invention for these noise canceling earplugs that you put them in your ears and then it gets rid of all the sound coming in because it can actually like cancel it out. Well, apparently our ears actually emit sound just a little bit. So maybe there could be something that we're hearing that it's the sound emitting and the volume's turned up, and somehow that could be mitigated. I don't know how it all works, but it's just something I thought of. So good voices. And I also wonder if this sound that we emit from our ears is has something to do with intuition, or if it's the subtle sound that we can hear in insight. I really don't know, just wondering. And I wonder if some of these messages will mitigate and balance some of the not so good messages out there about people's brains. Maybe it'll amplify these memes and amplify this consciousness. I was wondering if a different term for mental illness could be mental newness, because a lot of times it's something new, so it's scary. And even if it is something old, it's presented in a new way, or it doesn't seem like it's under our control. And in a way, all mental is mental illusions. They're programs and abstractions. Can we illuminate this instead of illusions? Can we illuminate with that impersonal light of consciousness? And I found something written by J. Krishnamurti that sounds a little bit like epi-memetics. He says, then the question arises whether you can live in daily life without any control, without any comparison, which does not mean you do what you like, but actually to live without a single direction, which is without control. This demands a skill in action, which is an art to be learned. And in the very learning of it is its own discipline. You don't impose a discipline upon it. The very observation of how to live without control itself brings its own order. Do it and you will see how extraordinarily simple it is. That's from the 2016 Krishnamurti Bulletin, number 90, page 9. And I think that's part of what map consciousness is initiating, is for us to learn how to live without control, which is thought coming in to direct the energy of our life. And that's just pure life energy, and we have to be very quick and perceptive to act correctly. And usually we mess it up and then we end up hospitalized, but there could be a way to learn this art of action. So yeah, I'm not sure what I was saying. I was distracted by a very loud wind noise that was probably an aircraft. Can we learn to act in accordance with the universe, with the cosmos, which takes learning and practice in daily life, which is sort of like harvest, practice, and body. And some of us already gestured our way to the top, but then we fell out of it. So in a way, maybe we don't have the strength in some of the higher gestures really embedded into our neurology to be able to stay there. But we have the blueprint in a way, so we can be more aware of what is correct and what's not correct. I think part of it is that we see a lot of things in daily life that aren't correct and not good, and then we sort of take it on ourselves, and then we react, and we don't know what to do with all that's going on in the world. And part of that would be maybe almost having like an epi-gesturetic support group to start to learn these gestures and relearn the gestures that the universe wanted us to gesture, and be in alignment with that and get feedback from the universe. So we're actually getting real feedback from the universe when we're in the alignment with that. I think I started going downhill a little bit when I was writing and not able to keep up, and then I just sort of gave up on the process. Maybe I can't give up on this process because in a way it's my job. It's a job without direction, it's a job without motive, it's a job without reward and punishment. It's just talking to myself and seeing what happens. And Krishnamurti also says, be a light to yourself. Don't accept other people's inner authority or spiritual authority. Find out for yourself. And it seems to me that perception is under the influence of thought. Thought could be more intoxicating and sedating than any kind of alcohol or drug. It directs what to make salient. And I think a lot of times in so-called mania, we say what's real and people don't really want to go there because they don't know how to go there either. None of us really know what to do. And I really don't know what to do anymore. I want to build a respite. I want to do this and that, and I don't even know, and I can't even remember. So how am I going to do stuff when I can't remember jack squat? And I was thinking about how our homes make us individuals. If we didn't own stuff, how would we organize ourselves as human beings? I feel like sometimes homeless people might attempt to live this way, not owning stuff, but it's to the detriment of the safety of their physical bodies. So how do we get there embodied, and how do we get there sheltered with food and clothing for everybody? And I think I talked about how it seems that things I say are met with skepticism. I feel like I was speaking from a level of beauty and perception. I don't know for sure, but it was definitely met with strong comments or reactions. One person saying, that's not true, and I was just saying something like very casually, and I was like, whoa, and other things like that. And in a way it feels like this flower kind of shriveled up, sort of. It was like there's a flower with perfume, and Krishnamurti uses that analogy, and then people just start coming ripping the petals off of it, and so it's just not the same. I just feel a little bit de-energized. But it could also be conserving energy and waiting for another situation to release it. It's almost like that other dimension tries to speak through someone, and then when it's met with a certain approach of somewhat anger and things, it kind of shrivels back, and then one is left with sort of this ego that's kind of blank, like bleh. And I feel like that's what happens in map consciousness. We're like, yay, like everything's beautiful, look at the universe, and people are like, no it's not, no it's not, no it's not. And at first it's okay, but then after a certain period of time it's de-energizing. And I really don't know if that's true, but it's just interesting to me that that voice isn't always there. And I can see how someone might have that voice beaten down, and also when that happens and that voice is trying to come in, and the ego is also kind of getting a bit messed up in the process, because it has to in order for that other voice to come in. One can be left kind of this shell that could easily be interpreted as mentally ill or kind of dull, or because when you don't have that ego voice so strong, and that other voice isn't listened to, then what is there? And people can't listen, I don't think, with the operating system of thought. And I wrote down a question. Why is the me what's happening? So I will keep myself posted on this pain, these bites, and all of that kind of stuff. That's kind of beautiful.